All right, Chris, welcome. I'm so happy to have you on.
Cool, man. Thanks for having me.
As I'm sure everybody listening to this knows, you are the owner or runner, I guess. I don't know what you call it for YouTube channels, but you run a YouTube channel called The Hidden Fortress that makes content. Now, I guess it's mostly about shoot 'em ups, but it used to be kind of more
Yeah,
generally about arcade games.
right.
Can you tell me about how your channel started or what motivated you to want to start making videos about this stuff?
For sure. First of all, though, I want to say, it's really flattering to be on your platform, dude. I really appreciate you having me.
Oh, my pleasure.
The Hidden Fortress, like the way all that started was it was actually me and my buddy who just started making videos together, and there really wasn't like a whole lot of like planning involved in all of that, and it was just kind of like let's just make like funny goofy videos. We didn't think like like nobody was ever going to see it. So one thing I wanted to say though, because people have asked me before, because people assume that it's like a reference to the Kurosawa film,
Oh, yeah, that's what I had
and it's
assumed.
yeah, so it's not. Although like it sounds cool, right? So
Hmm.
it was like, oh, it's a cool name for like a channel. The idea was a place for like my friends and I to make videos online like about video games or whatever nerd stuff anybody in our real life wouldn't know about it. So it's like you can do whatever you want and don't worry about like, like people, in real life like finding out about it and like making fun of you. So like do whatever you want. That was the idea. It was like it was the hidden place for us to like do like weird, like wild creative shit.
I love that. That's great. Do you have a
It's kind of
lot of
cool.
friends who are into that kind of stuff? I guess both arcade games, but also making videos.
Yeah, actually, my friends are either degenerate video gamers, like
Yeah.
in like the best possible way, or they're like movie video nerds.
Okay.
It's really hard to get like people to do that creative stuff.
Hmm.
Like my buddy Nick is like he was the dude who, thinking back to it, like the Hidden Fortress might have been his fucking idea. By the way,
Okay.
can I swear? I don't
Oh
know if
yeah.
I
No.
should
No.
if
Go
I'm
for
like
it. Yeah. Yeah.
all
Fuck
right,
yeah.
cool, because I swear like a Scotsman. All right, cool. And so like I've been trying to get him to make videos for the Hidden Fortress like forever, because like there's like gap of like 10 years, right? Like if you look at my channel, it's like we were making videos and then there was like this gap of like 10 years, and then
Yeah.
all
I
of a
was
sudden I
watching some
started
of the
making
older
videos again.
stuff today.
Yeah, this stuff is so goofy. Like I came back and started making more videos, and like I've been pounding my buddy Nick, like, dude, please, like come back, make more videos, dude. Because he's into like the FGC and stuff.
What's
And I'm like,
FGC?
oh, like the fighting game community, like the
Oh,
fighting
I
games.
got you. Okay. Yeah.
And so I'm like, dude, make fighting game videos like on the Hidden Fortress, And he's always like, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, like when it started, like that's what it was. It was that, and like yeah, like all my friends, pretty much all my friends are like movie and or video game like nerds, essentially.
Well, mentioning video game nerds, it was especially those older videos. Another YouTube creator that has that same cross section, I think, of being just as like nerdy about movies as video games is like
Yeah,
AVGM or James Rolfe stuff.
sure.
Did you watch
Yeah.
any of that? Was that something that was an influence on you?
Oh, oh yeah, dude. It was actually again, it was like my buddy Nick who sort of turned me on to that stuff. And yeah, like that stuff was definitely like a big influence. And I think it still is, dude, because like
Hmm.
I don't know, like I still look at that stuff, especially like the early AVGN stuff, and I'm like, man, like that stuff is like really kind of hilarious. Like it's legitimate hilarious. It's
Yeah.
not just like YouTube hilarious. Like some of that stuff is like really, really funny. And like people have actually asked me before, said that like, hey, your videos remind me of like the old AVGN stuff. And like I find that to be kind of flattering because that stuff is pretty good. But yeah, I watch like all that stuff. In fact, I still watch this stuff occasionally when it comes up, or I'll like if I'm working, I'll have that stuff on in the background
Mhm.
because that shit is like really funny to me.
You were making stuff where it seemed like there was a focus on production that was influenced more by movies than it was by like
Oh,
YouTube editing culture, which I found really refreshing because I think like now
mm,
there's kind of like a template for how you make video game
mm,
content on YouTube, and you see that in a lot of,
yes.
and it's not necessarily like, one is better than the other, but I do wish that
Uh-uh.
there were more people who were kind of still making stuff in that older style where it's like these are people who are, they think about it like I'm producing a film or a short film when they're making their video
Yes.
about video games.
That's actually funny. Yeah, that's actually interesting that you brought that up. I was actually talking to another creator not too long ago where um we were looking. I don't even remember like who. 'Cause I'm actually pretty out of the loop. Like I don't know who's big like in YouTube, like in the gaming, like the gaming space or whatever.
Mhm.
But like there was like a younger dude who like it was making a video and it was like so snappy. It was like so like fast paced, like the editing style, and it was
Mhm.
like every 5 seconds there was like a SpongeBob reference and then like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'll cut to like a SpongeBob thing, and it was like so intensely edited. And we were talking about it, and I was like, dude, I don't even know if I can do that. Like that's so much. Like there's so much work that that goes into that stuff. And then like we actually had a conversation about being like a little more slower paced. And I think that definitely comes from like cinema because like you don't see like that kind of video making is 100% like a YouTube thing,
Mm.
where it's like real like snappy and but yeah, like if you look at my channel, some of the videos I make are like little like short films for sure. Some of them aren't. Like I try to do like something different a little bit, like
Mhm.
every once in a while. Like I just kind of have a good time making the video and then I never want to upload it. Like the publish button haunts my nightmares. Like I'd never want to publish my videos.
What's the fear that you have?
Well, there's all kinds of stuff, right? It's like, well, first of all, okay, like one of the scariest things is like when you make a video and you've injected yourself into it,
Hmm.
meaning like you're being personal, okay? So like what you made is a little bit embarrassing because maybe there's some things about you in the video. I tend to think that that's like when you're probably doing something interesting when you feel that way,
Mhm.
right? Uh, um, like your videos like caught my eye because I felt like you were a big part of your videos, and I was like, that's fucking cool. That's where the courage comes into play when you click the publish button and you're like, now I'm like really putting myself out there. So there's that, but then there's also like I get this feeling of like I don't want to like what if I say something that like pisses somebody off or like
Mhm.
makes somebody feel bad or offends somebody who I don't mean to offend. That's the other thing that like freaks me out because like especially with the shmup community, I'm so like brand new that like I don't know anything. I feel like you know what I mean. So I could say something foot in the mouth for all I know. That you know what I mean. It could be some fucking landmine, and I'm usually like hitting up people who've been around for a long time, and I'm like, hey, if I say something about this, is that gonna like cause any drama or anything? And they're usually like, no, you weirdo. Why would? And I'm like, okay, cool. Like that's kind of what it is. Is like I don't know. It's just like my video. So funny to say, dude. But, like my videos are like embarrassing as shit. Like to me, once I upload a video, I like hardly ever fucking look at it again
Really? Okay.
because it's like, yeah, like I have a lot of fun like making the video, and then once I upload it, I'm like, I can't ever look at that shit again.
Huh.
And there's actually been videos I've made on my channel that was like I had this like goofy idea, and then like my buddy Nick will be like, I dare you to fucking upload that, and I'm like, I will. And then like I upload the video, whatever, about the guy who like cuts my face off and makes like Hidden Fortress videos, like wearing my skin. It's so like goofy and zany. A lot of times it's like kind of embarrassing. The commentary, the gameplay commentary videos, not so much. Although I am kind of self conscious about my gameplay because there's a lot of guys out there that are like really good, and like I don't know, like sometimes I feel like who the hell am I to be uploading this crappy run or whatever?
Same,
But
same. Except you're much better at shoot 'em ups than me. But yes, I definitely feel
well,
that
I
way.
don't know. I don't know about that, dude. Last night I was playing some Gradius and some Salamander, dude, and got smoked hard, dude. So I mean, you cleared those, right? Like the older stuff is intimidating to me.
Yeah, I guess there's something about that is like there's different kinds of shmups, and I guess
Yeah,
if you haven't played a certain type of shoot 'em up, then like you're not going to be as good as that type. But still, that Ketsu video is
yeah,
awesome. Okay, but do you remember when the tagline of YouTube was "Broadcast yourself"?
yes, yes,
To me, like
yes.
that I think is the biggest thing that has been
Yes.
lost. Is that because
Yes.
that's what you're saying, is like, if you're making something personal, like you are
Yes.
broadcasting yourself. You're not making content that another person could. And even just actually what I just did, which I find kind of obnoxious, that we use the term content to talk about like videos
Mm-hmm.
that people make. It's
Oh,
like,
dude,
I'm
yes.
not making like a piece of art or something. It's like I'm making content for people to consume.
Yes.
Um, but
Yes.
yeah, the idea originally was, okay, here's a place where, because that was a novel idea, that there was somewhere that you could upload a video, and it's like you have your own TV channel. Like that's what that was the concept of
Right.
YouTube back before there was any possibility of making money off of it. People were just making lots of like crazy, goofy things, and
Uh-huh. Well, that's it 100%. Like what you just said, like hit the nail on the head for me. Like my favorite. So like anybody who's been following my channel like would know like who within the Shmupverse whose stuff I really enjoy. Like I give people shout outs because I'm like I look at somebody's stuff and maybe sometimes it's just like, oh dude, check out this guy's run. This guy cleared this camp. That's fucking crazy, and I'll give him a shout out. But like usually the people who I shout out and the people who like whose channel I really dig are like they are individuals. They are unique individuals with like unique perspectives on like the video games that we all play, and like that's what's really interesting to me. Like you just said, it's called YouTube. Like the thing for me is like when somebody injects themselves into the thing, that's when it becomes like really interesting. But also for me, that's the thing that's like the scary, that's like the most embarrassing part is like because
yeah.
like usually like in my videos I play like a warped sort of version of myself where
Mhm.
a lot of times I'll just like make fun of myself, and you know what I mean, and like do this like goofy like my real fantasy is to be a fucking gangster or whatever the fuck, or you know what I mean. You do like a commentary of the 1cc, and then as soon as you hit like pause or end, you start to cry, and you're like, I just want to feel again. There's a lot of me in that, but it's like a warped version of me, and like
Sure.
that's
Yeah.
embarrassing. Like you know what I mean? Like doing that kind of shit is just I don't know. But you hit the nail on the head. I think like as far as it being YouTube, like and there's nothing wrong with like, by the way, and I want to say before I forget to say this on that subject, I'm so glad you brought that up, though, dude, because I've been thinking about that a lot because there's, especially in the shmup community, like there's gamers who will upload like just straight up replays. Um,
Yeah. Yeah,
like
like
they're almost like fucking
Pearl or
super
Jammers,
plays.
or yeah.
Yeah, right. And they're like super, like they got that. They can do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just want to say that. But the stuff that I really dig on, like if I'm breaking Pearl's balls about like making videos, like dude, you should make videos. That's kind of what I'm leaning on him to do.
Hmm.
Put yourself in there. That's what I dig on. And of course, like people can be like, well, like I don't give a shit what you dig on. I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do, and that's fine. But that's just my thing. Is like most of the shmup tubers that I'm really down with, like that's what they do. That's what I try to do. And again, terrifying sometimes.
I've started by talking about the videos. Let's go back and talk about the games a little bit. So, what's your
Right.
history with, I guess, arcade games? Maybe not shmup specifically, but classic quote in quotes games.
Not to go too far back, but briefly, I remember like my earliest memory of ever playing any video game was the Atari Star Wars, the vector screen Star Wars Atari game.
Yeah.
I was so young, I was sitting on my father's lap because I could because it was the sit down cab. I remember it. I wasn't even tall enough to like reach the controls.
Wow.
That like completely blew my mind. Like the fact that you could like hear the voice of like Alec Guinness, like the Obi-Wan character. I was like, this is so incredible. Like that place, it was called Spaceport. It was in South Jersey. It was before we even moved to Los Angeles when I was a little kid. Like that was my first experience ever with a video game was at an arcade. Growing up in the 90s, it was like the home console versions that we all had were like the lesser versions of the arcade. Like the arcade was like where the good stuff was,
Mhm.
right? So a lot of like really incredible memories of like walking into arcade and like seeing like Primal Rage for the first time. Like okay, Primal Rage might not be that great of a game, but like the first time you see it, you're like, whoa, or like Killer Instinct. Like we were all like just frothing at the mouth when we were kids for that kind of shit. Anybody who's my age. And then way later on, as an adult, I remember Street Fighter 4 came out and it was in the arcades before it was on home consoles. There was like three places in North America that got it, and it just so happened that one of the places that got it was 10 minutes away from where I was living.
Wow.
This arcade called Family Fun Arcade. that was apparently pretty famous in the fighting game community. I didn't know that at the time because I'm not like really a competitive gamer at all, but I wanted to see the new Street Fighter. Like I was like, holy shit, the new Street Fighter's out. And it's I drove to Family Fun Arcade to go see the new Street Fighter. Long story short, I met the owner of Family Fun Arcade. It was a complete nutcase, but God love him. We became very close. I started working there, and I worked at Family Fun Arcade from when did Street Fighter 4 come out? Like 2008, I think, until Family Fun Arcade closed in like 2012. And so, and it was that whole period, dude, of like, I guess sort of being like an operator was so much fun. It was like, dude, it was grueling work. But people think that like working at an arcade is like dope because like all you do is like sit there and like, I don't play video games. It's grueling work, but it's also really cool because I got to learn like that's where I actually learned like what a Naomi board was, or like what a CPS2 board was, or you know what I mean? Like the owner like sort of taught me all these things and like started to kind of teach me how to solder, and then I got kind of interested in doing that stuff and like modding old game consoles. And by that point I was like I had always been like a retro gamer. Like I never that's another thing too, I guess I should mention. Are you familiar with like any of like the retro game collecting stuff, like say Snatcher for the Sega CD and like how much money that's worth, and it's like one of Kojima's games from back in the day.
I've played Snatcher. I really don't know anything about video game collecting
Okay.
though. Like I don't collect any hardware stuff.
Okay, good. That's you're a healthier person for it. So the thing about okay. Long story short, so like when I was a kid, I think I was in like seventh grade or eighth grade, and I had Snatcher for the Sega CD, and I played through it, and I loved it. I played through it, and I beat it, and then I sold it. I went to this place called Game Dude. It's like this big mom and pop sort of video game shop in the San Fernando Valley out there in LA. I think it's still there, but I traded it in for like a whole bunch of money. But I don't know what I bought, like PlayStation 1 games or something. And like immediately like regretted it. And from that point on, like I just stopped trading in my games. And so that sort of turned me into a collector, or really like a hoarder. And so I would go to, it was like Final Fantasy VII came out, and that was a big deal. So I would go to like Electronics Boutique and I'd go buy Final Fantasy VII. But then over in the discount bin, there would be like old NES cartridges. And so I would, oh, Wizards and Warriors and Bionic Commando for $5. And I never stopped playing old games. And so it was really fun to be working at FFA around all that old stuff. I had a big interest in all that stuff, and I thought that stuff was so cool, even though I wasn't playing the fighting games like competitively, although I was watching those guys do it. Cats like Justin Wong were around, these other guys, like Fnatic was another cat, and they would have these crazy money matches with Marvel versus Capcom 2. That shit was like not for me, but I found that whole thing to be sort of fascinating to just sort of like watch all that play out. I guess that's kind of like as far as arcade games go, that was sort of like the lead up to like the shmups were always my favorite games to play, and I have this funny feeling that it's a lot of people's favorite games like in the retro community because those games are actually like the most sought after for the collectors. Fast forward to about 2 years ago, like I had this crazy sort of aha moment where I realized like, oh, wait a minute. These games aren't impossible to clear with one credit. You can actually do this. Like you can actually practice these games and actually like beat them with one credit. Like, oh, this is amazing. That's what really sparked like a crazy obsession with like I think the arcade shmups.
Did that moment happen because you were just casually playing a game and you managed to one credit clear it, or was there a moment where you decided to
No,
try?
my first clear was DOJ Black Label, the 2 round, not the crazy one with like the crazy hibachi at the end, but like the 2 round. Because I didn't know any better. I didn't know that like maybe like a DDP, like a Dodonpachi would have been like a better first clear or something. I just really loved that game, but
Yeah.
I was getting frustrated by like a lot of ports that were coming out and they didn't feel right. Like there was latency or something like on the Switch, like say, and I'd be playing it on the Switch Lite, and I'm like, dude, why does this game? And so I started doing like searches for like latency and like guess what comes up? The shmup folks, like Electric Underground and Shmup Junkie are having this. Like, I think they were having like a debate about like input latency and like how much it mattered. And I kind of agree with both of them, by the way. But that connected me with a little bit of like the shmup community. And like I remember like Shmup Junkie doing videos and talking about Memo and how like, well, actually like these games aren't as hard as you think. You just have to practice them. And I was like, really? Okay. And that kind of started that wheel to turn. Like, yeah, I bet you have to practice for 10 fucking years. but they were kind of preaching like, no, it doesn't, no, you can do this and da 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 da. And then I discovered some smaller channels that I had access to. So like I discovered Hazy Levels, and Hazy was doing videos about like how to clear like all this stuff, right? And I would comment, and Hazy would respond, which was really cool because in the retro gaming scene, like all the big channels, like they don't respond. But that's what was sick. It was like I could ask a question, and Hazy would respond. Not to get too convoluted, I'm a big fan of Diablo 2. There's a point to this.
Okay, yeah, tell me about
Diablo
it.
2. Okay, Diablo 2 is a game that is extremely grindy, and like for I've been playing Diablo 2 on and off for like 20 years. I'm gonna try and make this really fast. Just before I got into like going after DOJ Black Label, I was playing the shit out of Diablo 2 Resurrected. And I was always under the impression in Diablo 2 that like if you wanted to get the really high end gear and like really kick ass at Diablo 2, it was like impossible because that stuff is so rare. Like those drops are so rare. The way Diablo 2 works is like when you kill enemy, like you grind these dungeons and then like it's like a slot machine, like how lucky you are with the drops. And some of the drops are like so rare, you'll never see them in your entire life, kind of thing. Well, as it turns out, if you just sit there and grind that game enough, like a ridiculous amount, and like commit to it, like you can actually get that crazy shit that like makes you overpowered.
Mhm.
And so I learned that about Diablo 2. So now I'm looking at say I'm looking at DOJ Black Label and I'm going, huh, I wonder if I grind that the same way I just grinded Diablo 2, if this thing I thought was impossible is actually possible. And at the same time I'm watching Electric Underground and Shmup Junkie, and then I discover Hazy Levels, and Hazy's doing this thing, and Hazy's like responding to me and like helping me, and then the big aha moment was stage 3 in DOJ Black Label, because stage 3 is like where that game like shuts you the hell down.
Mhm.
And I started using save states. I never played with save states before. I was like this, I guess, like a purist. I didn't want to like play with save states.
Mhm.
And as soon as I like finally was like, I'm gonna use save states to try and like practice this stuff, it was so much fun, dude. Because like as soon as I died, like there was this instant loop of like right back in the game, dead, right back in the game, dead, right. You know what I mean? And it was like it was so much fun to just kind of tune out and like practice.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there with my iPad following, I'm pretty sure it was Hazy's routing through stage 3 and learning and making progress. And the next thing I knew, I had like the first half of stage 3 down. And that was like the big aha moment. I was like, oh man, dude, like if I can do the first half of stage 3, I can do all stage 3. And if you can do stage 3, you can do stage 4. If you can just do stage 5, then you should be able to put all that together and actually do this. And that was like the big exciting moment. And that's when I became like super upset. All my friends like eventually were like, dude, if you say shmup to us one more time, I swear to God, I'll kill you. You know what I mean? And like you could actually, and like, yeah, I was just like bug because Hazy would respond. Hazy was very cool to me and very helpful. And so
Hazy's
like I was
great.
just bugging the shit. Dude, I was just bugging the shit out of Hazy, like about the hey, what about the rank? Hey, do you think it's hey, should I use a bomb here? Hey, how often do you play? Do you play more than 2 hours a night? Like all this stuff, you know? And I ended up getting the clear, and it really was like one of the most intense experiences I ever had playing a video game.
Mhm.
And from there, I was like full on addicted to the one credit clear like battle. Like like from there it was like forget about it. Like I'm never going back.
You had a history with arcades and with hardware so that was before, like the time when you worked
Yeah,
at an arcade like that. You weren't trying to one credit clear games at that time. You just
no,
okay.
no. I mean, in a sense, but like not like fully committed.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? It was like I
Yeah.
was fascinated by the idea of the lone fighter against like insurmountable odds. Like there was something really kind of romantic about that, like
Mhm.
in that game. You know what I'm saying? Like in these games. Like Raiden 2 used to be a favorite of mine, but I never thought I would ever like one credit clear Raiden 2. But I love to play them.
Mhm.
It just never occurred to me to like commit for 2 months. To, you know what I
Right.
mean? To
Yeah.
like and to do save states and to practice each section and sort of connect them.
From the point where you did start kind of getting into shoot 'em ups more, did that
Yeah.
change your perception of other games? Like, do you still play Dota 2?
With like Diablo 2.
Sorry, Diablo 2,
Um,
yes.
Actually, that's actually a really good. That's actually a really good question, dude. Yes and no. Oh, it's so funny you just mentioned. I was just playing Diablo 2. Like full disclosure. Like I still actually just recently I started like messing around with Diablo 2. I'm not gonna say it ruined other games for me because I still love a really chill game. that's not as
Mhm.
intense. Yeah, like modern games, a lot of modern games just don't really hit the way they used to, for sure. For sure. Like you start to see the seams. I mean, if people like those games, there's nothing wrong with liking those games. But
Mhm.
like here's a good example, like Uncharted, right? Like those games are pretty cool. But there's like these sequences where it's like this crazy wild car chase or whatever, and you kill all the bad guys, and it's this wild thing. You're like, whoa, I'm so cool! Like I made it and I live. Now when I look at that stuff, I'm like, actually, there was like 5 inputs during that entire
Right.
sequence that mattered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you start to see the seams. It's almost like being at Disneyland, and then you start to see like the secret door in the tree where like the employees use to get around the park, and like all of a sudden the illusion is broken. And
Yeah.
now that I think shmups have kind of done that. I started to figure that out before I started playing shmups like really hardcore, because like over time, like I was always playing older games and newer games, but like very slowly I was shifting more and more into playing more and more like older
Hmm.
games. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I kind of knew that was coming, and then like you discover things like Electric Underground, where like that dude Mark MSX will articulate what it is I was thinking. That's why I'm uninterested in newer games, and that was happening very slowly. And then, but it was just like discovering that like the bullet hell, at least the Don Maku, most of the games I play are like Don Maku, I guess. I want to change that. I want to actually go after some other shit. But discovering the fact that it's not impossible and it's not as hard as like people think. That was like the big like holy cow moment.
I see that quite a bit. Like definitely in Mark's video, I think he's pretty militant about it. But other people in the STG community too, it seems like it's almost like a very hyper specific culture war about kind of like trying to fight for or to defend that style of game, like that truly difficult style of game.
I guess I'm a little bit of contradictory, because like I on one hand it's like yes, games should be hard. At what point is it less game than like spectacle? You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
if you can't lose, then it's not really a game, right?
Hmm.
But on the other hand, like dude, like sometimes like when I was playing Garega, I went through this like 2 month battle with Garega, and that's a pretty intense game mentally, because what that game does is it's got like such a reputation that just committing to it is hard, because like every bone in my body was like, you can't do it. You can't do it, dude. It's fucking Battle Garega. What are you, nuts?
Mhm.
The reality is Battle Garega isn't nearly as hard as people think it is.
See, that's
Once you
like the first thing everyone says after they clear a game. It's like, oh
yeah,
no, it's
dude.
actually not that hard. Like,
Dude, dude, like once you figure out like all the little things, it's not as nasty as you think it is. The last couple parts of Battle Garega are pretty nasty. But I forgot where the hell I was going. Is now I'm thinking about Battle Garega and how gnarly that game is.
and maybe I can pick up that thread. You can tell me if this is similar to what you were feeling or not. But I've recently been trying to learn a route through Ikaruga,
Oh
and
God, yeah.
I had a session a couple nights ago where afterwards, and I posted this somewhere too. I was like, "Oh, I feel like I just got back from Vietnam, because it's like it's such an intense experience, and it's a rush that I don't get from other games. But at the same time, afterwards, I was like, okay, I need to take a break and play something that's
Oh
just more chill for a while, just because it was like
yeah,
I can't do this like
that's where I
every
was going.
day.
Yes.
Mm,
Yeah, that's where I was going.
mm,
It's like it was so nice to like play Chrono Trigger. It was so nice to be
yep.
like, you know what? Tonight, no Battle Garega. I'm going to sit here and grind Chrono Trigger, or you know what I mean, or grind like whatever,
Yeah.
like JRPG, like, and that is kind of a thing where there is a vibe of like it needs to be soul crushingly hard or nothing, and it's like no,
Right.
it doesn't. Like it's like I really enjoy like it. Like one of my favorite shmups of all time is still Gate of Thunder on the PC Engine. It's not like backbreakingly difficult. I just think it's so cool, and I love to play it. You know, but yeah, like I really dig. Like I have a wall right. I'm looking at it right now. Secret of Mana poster on my wall, and it's like that's a great freaking game, and it's
Mhm.
not break your neck difficult. And I also, what, I would also say that like to people who are like looking to do this stuff and to like achieve a clear, it's actually really important, I think, to take breaks, play something a little bit more chill, because you will burn out. You will burn out, because one of the biggest hurdle, at least for me, is like not giving up. I always say like you're going to defeat yourself, and I try to reflect that in my videos a little bit. The struggle a lot of times is like the inner struggle. When that gets really fierce, it's a good idea to just maybe step away for a few nights or maybe even a week. And then like play some other stuff. Screw it, play beat 'em up or something. Going your way through a beat 'em up, have fun. Are you playing through Ikaruga right now? Are you actually like
I
working on that?
was so much of the for STGs, and this is where I think I do have a sickness because I am kind of obsessed with the STG rank list, and that really dictates like
Uh,
kind of where I direct myself for what I'm doing next. So that's
yeah.
Ikaruga on easy mode is one of the options for rank 13 of the STG rank list. But
Okay.
I was going back and translating some of the higher tier stuff because the whatever there's this wiki that ranks the difficulty of shmups, and
Yeah.
it's in Japanese. There was a English translation on the shmups forums, but it hasn't been updated in a while. So I was trying to
Yeah.
translate the updated version, and I realized that. Gokujo Parodius is actually another option that I had missed, and so
Ooh.
I'm thinking I might do
Okay.
that instead. But I would like to eventually still go back and do Ikaruga for normal mode later,
Dude.
because I think that was like before I played shmups at all. Like the two shmups that I would have
Yeah.
been able to like name if you had asked me were Gradius,
Yes.
which I knew I think because of AVGN or some video where he was playing that, or Salamander, and Ikaruga.
Yeah.
That was the other one that like I knew of because it had this reputation as this impossibly difficult game, but that looked super cool when you watch videos of people
Right.
playing it. So I think that'd be really satisfying to be able to have cleared both of those, like the two games that I kind of knew about before.
There's a set of games that are extremely intimidating to me, and I'm telling you this right now. Gradius, probably because of the Nintendo cartridge when I was a kid.
Hmm.
The game just completely demolished me. And Ikaruga. Ikaruga, I,
Oh
I
wow,
remember it came out on the Dreamcast, and I don't know how old I was at the time, but I was working. I had my own money, and I imported it because and we played it, like me and my buddies would like we would play. We were into shmups, but we weren't actually chasing like one credit clears. Like it was more of like a let's see who can get farther in the game while we talk shit to each other
Mhm.
kind of thing. And Ikaruga was one of the games that we would play, and that game is so like I don't know, dude. Like that game's hardcore. Like there's something about that game for me that kind of is sort of intimidating, and like maybe I think it's like the switching between the two colors, I guess. Like that one and Radiant Silvergun, like those games are so if you play it enough, I'm sure it becomes easier, but like I don't know, like those like whenever someone's like I cleared Gradius, I'm like that's some crazy to me. Or Ikaruga. Like there was somebody who was it? Somebody showed me like their Ikaruga easy run and I was like, that looks insane. I don't know if I got that. Like I would fucking do that.
Ikaruga is really hard. Gradius, I
It's,
would say, like the
it's
hardest thing
nasty.
about it is being able to get through the mental anguish of having like if you get hit, then you have to start over from the beginning. Like
You're done. Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
have to no miss the game. But it's like especially if
Yeah.
you're practicing with save states, the individual sections of Gradius they're very doable. But Ikaruga,
Okay.
I think it has. I know it's kind of a meme. It has a reputation as being like, oh, it's actually a puzzle game. But I think it's just it's so defined by its gimmick, and I think that's
Yeah.
part of why it has the reputation that it does, because no matter how good you are at shmups going into that game, like you have to learn that it's almost like you're starting over from the beginning, or this is my experience anyway. It's like I can't bring any of my other knowledge to this, like I just have to learn this game
Yep.
on its own, and you really have to learn a route. Like you can't rely on good like bullet hurting techniques or like restreaming and stuff.
Right.
There is a little bit of that, but it's more just especially if you're trying to score in that game too. Like that's
Oh,
a whole other thing.
oh
Is chaining
Jesus.
in that game is ridiculous. But you kind of need to
Dude.
do a little bit of that because you need the extends too.
Right. Well, that's a whole other thing too. And like on one hand, it makes me feel kind of like I don't know, kind of bad. Not really bad, but like on one hand, I have like imposter syndrome because I upload this stuff to my goofy channel. But it's like the scoring and like how infinite the challenge is in these games. It's like I'll upload like a DDP run and then it's like my score is ass. And it like when I see people like start doing like scoring in some of these games, I'm like, dude, that stuff is wild. Like I know some like really good Ketsui players, and they're getting like one alls casually, and their scores are like three times what mine was, and I'm like, Jesus. You guys are nuts,
Yeah.
dude.
Is that something that
But
that interests you at all? Like, do you think that's something that you would want to do in a game is to play for score, for high scores?
absolutely, absolutely. I just the problem is I don't think I have it yet. I think there's like a legacy skill that you I think you slowly start to gain. I just don't have it. You know what I mean? Like
What do you mean?
maybe I'm wrong about this actually, but the way I've always seen it, if you play for survival, at least in most games, not all games, but if you play for survival, that's like the first level. The next level is like the scoring system, I guess, and like exploring that whole thing and trying to get like really into that. So like if there's a game I play for score, it's like Pro Gear. I love to play Pro Gear. But whenever my score is really good, I'm not clearing it. You know what I mean? Because it's like the game becomes harder the more score you get because it's like a risk reward thing, and I always end up getting myself killed because now I'm trying to collect all the diamonds kind of thing. And I feel like this could just be a mental thing, but I just feel like I'm just not at that level of like skill yet to really be like quote unquote like playing for score. Like if I uploaded if I uploaded like my best score in Pro Gear, like people would laugh at me. It's like it's more of like a private thing, right? It's like more of like Neon Dagger plays Pro Gear, so I'll be like talking to me. Wait, what's your high score? Oh, okay, it was like 18 mil. Okay. And then like quietly I'm trying to beat his high score.
Mhm.
This motherfucker, I'm gonna beat his high score, dude, and I'm gonna send him a screenshot of it, and then I can't, and so because he's like really good, and you know I get deterred, but that's how I feel about it. I feel like a layered sort of thing, unless like I guess you could play just and not try and clear, and like all that really matters to you is like your personal best score. You know, I guess that's an all other way you could really look at it. You know, I have another thing like in my gaming habit. I don't know how much more time you have, but
No,
like
I'm happy to
just
talk as long as you want.
okay, cool. Like another I don't get to talk to like anybody about shmups, dude.
Same.
Like I say, like all my friends, like they don't fucking play these games. I
That's
swear
why
to
this
God, they're gonna
podcast
send it.
exists. Yeah, because there's
Yeah, they're gonna
nobody wants to hear about it.
bro, they're gonna send a death squad over here to take me out if I try to get them to play DDP one more time. It's okay, so I played like Devil Blade reboot, and like the game is so cool. Like it just looks and sounds so cool. And you know the game is designed really well because like the more you play it, the more you start to score. The more you start, you know what I mean? Like you start to learn the routing, so you start getting closer to the enemies, and that's how you create your get your score. And I'm like, dude, I want to play this game for score. Like, not only do I want to clear it, but I want to like play the game for score, you know? But then like I'll clear the game and I'll play it a little bit, but then like Esperade is like sitting there on the shelf, right? And I'm like, oh, I want to go like I want to go discover this other game, and I always end up like jumping ship to like the next game.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, it's
So
relatable.
that's part of my like gaming habit is like, especially when you discover how to like play these games. It's not that I didn't know that Dodonpachi and Diojo existed before I started in Galuda, like all these things. It's not that I didn't know that they existed, but now all of a sudden I feel like they're accessible. So I'm like a
Yeah,
kid in the store, like constantly jumping from like game to game. Like, oh, this is cool. I want to try this. I want to try that. Like some games don't stick. Some games like do stick. But I have like I guess it's a bad habit of like I get it clear and then like I jump to the next game. The only game I haven't done that with is Ketsui and Dodonpachi. I went back to Dodonpachi and played that again, but like I still play Ketsui. That's another thing that factors into like, you know, not being so much of a score player, being like a survival player, is that like I'm always thinking about like all the other games I could be playing.
I find that very relatable because I'm that way, not just with shmups or with video games, but with everything. Is I find it
Yeah.
really hard to make the decision to go back to something that I've experienced before instead of
Yeah.
like when there's
Yeah.
so many new things that I haven't experienced. So even if it's like if I'm picking what movie to watch tonight and it's like, oh, well, like, this is one of my
Yeah,
favorite
yeah.
movies and you know I could watch it again, but it's like there's so many movies. Like my life is too short to watch all of the good movies out there that I haven't seen. So I feel like I kind of want to watch something new, and I feel that way with video games too. Of that, even if I really enjoyed a game and I know I would enjoy it if I kept playing it more to go deeper with it. It's like, well, I would rather
Yeah.
kind of expand my horizons a little bit and try something that I haven't tried yet.
I'm right there, and there's like I have like like I noticed like I watched your videos like you have a list. You're going down a list and you're playing all these games. I have this list as well, and I just like in the back of my mind, it's like, dude, like how old am I gonna get before I can't play these games anymore? Like
Mhm.
my reflexes go. But then like we all know like reflexes are like what 10% of it,
Yeah.
20% of it. But I can make a video and like and bitch about like how like the modern gaming industry like runs on FOMO, but like really like I'm still doing it. Because you know what I mean? Like I'm still consuming quote unquote content by like jumping from game to game because there's so much good stuff. If all I did was play shmups for the rest of my life, there's still so many games to play.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like you said about movies, like that like that's the other thing too. It's like I often feel like if I'm playing games or making a video, I'm not watching a movie. I also get that feeling too, where I'm like, dude, I should be watching like something. Like I you know what I mean? Like I should
Mhm.
be finishing this series. I should be watching this thing. That's like the big juggle. And I've always said that I think that's probably like that's what makes like committing to these games like so difficult. I
Mhm.
think is that like it always kind of blows my mind when like somebody like I'll see somebody who's like really good at like DDP, Ketsui, and Pro Gear, and those are the games they play, and that's it. There's almost like a discipline to that, and like they'll do Euroloop in Ketsui, and it's like holy shit, that's a huge commitment. And I'm sitting here like I want to play Gunvein. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like it's like I cleared Ketsui, and I was like, oh yeah, I could go for a Mote, but Gunvein looks well. I want to play that, and so I ended up playing. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's yeah, that's the hardest part, I think. That's what really keeps me from playing for score, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
That's what it is, I think.
Maybe one day, like you find the thing that clicks with you, and then like that just becomes your thing. I haven't gotten there yet. Like,
Hmm.
there's nothing that I've played so far where I'm like, yeah, like I could like totally just lose myself in this one game.
Yeah, I mean, there's a big part of me that hopes it
Hmm.
happens. I because I've been having so much fun, like just jumping from game to game. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, like what if like at one point I might be like, time to settle down and be a Kitsui player or whatever the hell it is. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like that could totally happen. But like I don't know. Like I think I'm just so stoked to be like discovering all this stuff right now. I keep thinking about like I want to get into Ibarra. That'll probably take me 2 months to clear. Or I could get into like this game or what about this thing? I've been wanting to do like the older stuff, so I started playing like Ray Force. And then I'm like, I don't know if I got that. Like Ray Force is so cool, but I can't see the goddamn bullets.
Mm.
So like like I usually I take these little like bites from all these games and see like what sticks.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, like I can't imagine that either. Like at a certain point, it just becomes like you are hell bent. You know what I mean? Like the DDP2 all right, or the Ketsui Euro loop. Like those guys are like fucking hell bent on doing that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you have to really commit to that, and I think that's commendable. Personally, like I think that's like super cool. I don't know if I have that in me yet
Mhm.
to really do and plus like dude the mental side of that's got to be crazy too like
Yeah, I think that
so,
level of discipline where you know that you are so far away
yes,
from your goal, and it's like, okay, this is gonna be like 100 more nights or like 1,000 more nights or
yes,
whatever it is of practicing just like
yeah,
tonight
dude.
before I do this. Let's yeah, it's really inspiring, but it's also like I don't know if I could ever do that.
Out of all the games that I've played since I started playing these games this way, like Dononpachi is like one of my most favorites. I love it. I have made it to the second loop once by accident, and I
Wow.
was like, "That's cool." And then like I got a little taste of the second loop, and I was like, "Holy shit, that's insane!" You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
just trying to wrap my mind around like the extent of that journey is pretty wild.
Hmm.
And then like the nerve. Could you imagine being, months and months and months into that grind, and then like you're at Hibachi, and this is the best run you've ever had, and you're like, don't blow it. Like the nerves that you would be dealing with and the adrenaline, like,
If I'm playing a game that's kind of like towards like
yeah,
the
dude.
limit of like my skill level right now, like I'm shaking by the end of it if I'm in a good run. I cleared
Yeah, dude.
Basic Original for the first time recently, and I remember
Oh, nice.
I was like absolutely just like hand tremors and sweats and stuff during the final boss fight.
Yeah,
Yeah. So no,
yeah,
yeah, I
dude.
can't imagine something that's like so many orders of magnitude more difficult and would take so much more work. And also, like when you're playing a numbers game, like if you think I like that comparison when you're talking about comparing it I was gonna say Dota 2 again, to Diablo 2, where it's like,
Yeah, yeah.
there's such a low percent chance. And I think that with those super difficult challenges, it's kind of similar, where it's like your skill will only take you so far, but then it's just like
Mhm.
at every possible point in the game where you could die, it's like whatever the percentage chance that you could die, because it's never going to be
Mhm.
100% that you're always going to get through that point. Then you gotta okay,
Right,
so now you gotta do the statistical calculation of like, okay, what are the odds of any given run making it to this point? And so then like
right.
you're at that point and it's like, okay, on average, like the odds of me making it back to this point again, it's like what if it's like 1 in 100 or 1 in 1,000
Yes,
runs? And so yeah, you're thinking like
yes,
if I blow it right now, then I am thousands of hours or hundreds of hours or whatever from being
yes.
back here again. I couldn't do that.
Ah, man, I hate having those thoughts in those moments. Like, and I think about Grega would do that to me. I'd be like, there was a period where I always say like Grega isn't as hard as people think it is. That is true. However, the end of Garega is insane, right? And so like I was like, I just wanted another try at the end. Like, give me another try at Blackheart 2. For God, like let me get there. And I remember there was like a span of like a week where I just, for some reason, like things were just not going my way.
Mhm.
And so like I finally got there and it was like a decent run and I fully got the adrenaline burst and I was thinking to myself like I'm only going to get a shot at this once a week, dude. So
Mhm.
I better I better make this count and then I like chain died. On that card too.
That's brutal.
Yeah, dude, like you start to think that way. You start to think like like exactly. It's like, how many chances am I going to get at this? Like, this is it. Don't blow it. And then when you die, you're like, oh, for Christ's sake, it's going to be another 50, 100,000 fucking tries before I get back to
Yeah.
that point. Yeah, that's rough. I think the key is to not somehow not think that way. But how do you not? Like, I always like, I have those thoughts. I always think about it.
Did you watch Mark's documentary, Passion Against Reason?
I did.
Plasmo does this live in front of a group of people. He does this incredible clear. It's amazing, and he's doing it with like like a half broken controller. That Mark is like he had to like to come up with this like really sketchy fix for ahead of time.
Right,
And
right.
Mark's like talking about it afterwards. He's like, yeah, no, like he wasn't phased at all. He was so chill about it. And I think that like the people who are good
Yeah.
enough at these games that they're able to, or they play them enough maybe that they're able to get this far. I
Yep.
don't know if that's a quality that you learn necessarily from doing these things, because like your brain would self-destruct if you didn't, like you learn some kind of coping mechanism, or if it's people who have
Yeah.
this like ice cold veins, just able to just shut it off and just focus on doing their best rather than letting the nerves get to them. If it's only those kinds of people that are able to do these achievements, but yeah, like either
Yeah.
like something has to be different about the way that you think about your performance to be able to do stuff like that.
Yeah, dude, definitely. I think that you know, I think a lot of the best players really are like they just have this like calmness about them. Like a lot of my favorite like shmup tubers sort of project that. Like their videos are very like zen and calming and there's a lot of talk of like reaching like that meditation, like that flow state,
Hmm.
like and that's when you play the best. And I suspect you get better at that as time progresses,
Hmm.
where like the nerves, you don't get that shock of adrenaline because that's not helpful as far as motor skills go and like split second decision making. Like I'm pretty sure that's not like super helpful. It happens to me every time. In fact, the last time it happened to me, I got like frustrated by it. I was like, when does that wear off,
Hmm.
dude? Like, come on, man. I think you're right, man. Like most of the people that I've met within the Schmupverse who I think are like really, really good are really calm vibes type people. I think too, like the key like for me, I've noticed is that like when I reach a mental point where it's like I've practiced enough so that like the muscle memory's there, the knowledge is there, and then mentally I don't care. Mentally, I get
Mhm.
to a point where it's like I don't care. You know what? I screw this run. I don't care, and it ends up happening. And a lot of times it's because I take an early death, or I feel like the run's going off the rails,
Yeah, I
and
found
I'm
that
like,
too.
I'm
Yeah,
just gonna
you
play for
make a
fun.
mistake early, so you're like, okay, this one doesn't count. But then, yeah, because you're
Yep,
more relaxed, then you just you wind up doing better.
yep. You're not overthinking shit, and
Yeah,
you're just like, fuck it, I don't care. And then all of a sudden, you're like, oh my god, I'm at the end. This is gonna happen right now.
yeah.
I've said that before in my video and in my videos and stuff, and I think that's fascinating. That whole side of the whole thing, I think personally is like super interesting.
Hmm.
There's a streamer who I follow who I consider a friend, Desmaku. He was working on a Batsugun 4-all, a special 4-all
Hmm.
for like ever, dude. And sure enough, he finally got it. Early death. There was an early death in his run, and I was like, "Yep, that's it.
Yeah,
That's it." You thought the run was over. You didn't reset. You were like, "Oh, screw it. I'm just gonna play for fun," and you got the clue. And I think that's like part of the mental game. I really, really, really do. Like when you can get to the point of like, I don't really care. Like fuck it. I think that's when you play your best. I really do.
that was a cool video to see. But, by the way, I'm sure most people probably all are already are. But if you're not following Desmako on Twitch, you should go do that because he has really cool
Yeah,
streams.
dude. Yeah. His Twitch is like super chill, dude. I really dig Des. He's a cool guy.
Do you have a long-term goal, either a specific game or a specific challenge of like,
Oh
okay,
yeah.
like this is what I would love to be able
Yes.
to say that I.
Yes, I do. It's not that huge. Well, it's huge, but it's like baby steps. It's make just making it to the second loop of Ketsui.
Mm,
Just making it to a mote. That's my holy grail. And full disclosure and honesty, I have been slacking on that. I haven't played a ton of Ketsui and then played some Ketsui recently, and I am rusty. I am getting smoked left and right. But that would be like my big gamer goal. You can only use 6 resources to get to the second loop. So it's like lives and bombs are your resources. So you have to get the one off, only using 6 resources.
mm,
I had a run after I got my clear where I made it stage 5. I'd only used 2 resources. And I didn't even realize that was like really good. And then I talked to another player who's like really good at Kitsui, and he was like, "Oh, dude, that's really good." And I was like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah, you're on your way." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I kept playing and like didn't wasn't able to do that again like over the course of like a week.
mm.
And so now I know like if I make it to stage 5 and I've only used 2 resources, I'm gonna get in my own head and be like, "Don't blow it,"
Yeah,
and then I'm gonna blow it.
right.
When I finally get to like the final boss in Ketsui, right? And I can't use any more bombs or die, like that is going to be a terrifying experience.
Yeah.
But like, I think that's part of what we all sort of chase is like that, that there's nothing better than when that final boss explodes and you're
Hmm.
like, yes. I hate to say this because I'm kind of afraid of it. I would love to get a salamander clear. The last few stages of salamander are fucking insane
Like
to
OG
me.
Salamander for
Yeah.
Life Force.
Yeah, the arcade. Well, the arcade one, like the one that M2 just put out.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, like that would be really cool because I just think that game is so freaking rad. That was actually, honestly, not in really any kind of meaningful way, but like when I was a little kid, like that was probably the first STG I ever got into was Life Force on the NES
Hmm.
because the Konami code made it like accessible. So like I look at the Salamander arcade game and I'm like, man, that would be cool. And then last night I was playing like the end of it and I'm like, this is so nasty. Like I know there's like save spots and I know that there's like specific routing you can do, but it's still pretty intimidating because that's another one I feel like where like you can get killed once and like that's pretty much it. Start over.
Yeah, so many Konami games are like that. I haven't played the original, or I haven't cleared the original Salamander. I've done Salamander 2 before. It was probably
Oh,
easier.
that's another one. Yeah, I think was it you I asked about that recently about Salamander
I
2?
think so. I remember talking about that a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, I think you were telling me that it's not as bad as it seems.
I mean, like
Salamander
again,
2.
like that's what everybody says after they because once you've
Yeah.
done something, then you
Yeah.
then I
Yeah.
think I think well the uplifting truth that you can extrapolate from that I think is that that's the case for almost everything is that everything looks harder
Yeah.
than it actually is, and it's a
Yeah.
learning process to then realize why it isn't actually
It's
that
true.
hard, and then you're able to do it. So okay, like of
Yeah.
course I'm gonna say that, but I mean, legitimately, especially if I think of you cleared Ketsui, like you could definitely do Salamander. That's a much
Yeah,
easier game.
but but that's my problem. Like it's all mind. Like for me, it's
Yeah,
always like self doubt and
yeah.
like mind game. It's like in the same day, like Hazy Levels and Pan, both incredible players,
Mhm.
uploaded videos about like killing Hibachi, like in two different games, and I was like, you guys are out of your mind.
Yeah,
I am not. I'm not
it's a
even.
different level.
I am not even. I'm not even clicking on that video. I am not even. No. Nope. No way. And they'll be like, no, it's not as hard as you think. It's like, not for me. And they're probably right. Like once you practice it enough, like okay, like maybe, but like that kind of stuff. There's all kinds of stuff that it's like super intimidating to me, and people will tell me like, no, you got that. And it's like, yeah, maybe. I don't know, dude. That seems crazy to me. Like, but yeah, Salamander 2, that would be really cool. Just because I think those games are so freaking badass.
Mhm.
There's just like I love like the design, like the visual design of those games, like all the spaceships and the space monsters and like everything, like the voice, like the voice you hear and like the sound design, like all that music, like all that stuff is so freaking cool.
It's great. Yeah.
Maybe I should focus on that next. Play those games. I don't know. I keep bouncing around. And then there's like another dude who like one of the homies hit me up. Is like, you should once you see Punisher. Like the beat 'em up game, Punisher. And I'm like, that's a whole other thing, man. Like I don't. That seems crazy to me. And they're like, no, it's not as hard as you think. You got that. And I'm like, oh, this is insane.
That's a whole other world to me. Like there are so many
Yeah,
like
dude.
arcade genres of game that I've never played once. Like I don't think I've ever played a beat 'em up in my life. That's just embarrassing to admit for my gamer cred, especially for the audience that would probably be listening to this. But the world of arcade games is so much broader than I've experienced. I've just started exploring shoot 'em ups, but yeah, there's so many other cool types of games and so many cool challenges to try.
Oh yeah, and it's infinite too. That's another thing that's like that
Yeah.
makes it really cool. Like on one hand, it makes it really cool. On the other hand, it can be sort of daunting. Like because I'm not like competitive. Like I don't play these games competitive. I'm not trying to like impress people. My thing on my channel, I make like shmup propaganda. I feel
Yeah.
meaning like I'm trying to get people
Yeah.
to play the games.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like, okay, like this is how cool I think these games are, and then I'll make a video and try to inject that vibe into the video, even if it comes off corny. It's like I don't care. I'm trying to get people to fucking to either be like, yeah, I know what you mean, or to be like, oh, that looks like it's intense and fun. I'm gonna try and do that. You know what I mean? It's never a flex. Like I never feel like I'm trying to flex some kind of like skill. It's always like, if I can do it, you guys can do it. That kind of thing. Because
Yeah, that definitely comes
it
across to you, or at least it does to me.
good.
Yeah.
Good. Because it really has been like one of the best times, like this past like year and a half, or it's been some of the most fun I have had playing video games ever, and making videos too. Like going back and starting to do like more of that kind of stuff because there was a long time where I wasn't doing any of that. That's also been like really fun. Sometimes the stuff that comes with it is maybe not so fun, as I'm sure you're aware. People are There's a lot of weirdos out there, but the whole thing has been really fun, and I'm always trying to get like people to do it too.
Well, it kind of seems like we're winding down a little bit. Before we go, is there anything that you
Mhm.
wanted to shout out?
Not really. Like I guess all I really want to say is like, don't be a gatekeeper. Everybody, play games, have fun, reach for challenge. That's all I wanted to say, really.
If somehow you're not already subscribed to the Hidden Fortress, absolutely go do that. I can count on my hand the number of people who like if I see that they've uploaded a new video, I'm like it's immediately I'm clicking on that to watch it. And you're one of those channels.
I really appreciate that, dude, because like that is like like again, like I don't have the skill to flex. Like the only thing I can do is like try and be entertaining and to try and draw people into playing the games. And that's if I can, dude, if I can be entertaining, like mildly entertaining, I'm so stoked. So thank you for that very much, dude. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today. And thank you everybody for listening.
Yeah, dude, thanks for having me on, man. It was really fun, dude.